Okay, we are live. There we go. We're live. Hello, everybody. Let me tweet this out into the world. Let everybody know that I am live. We are back, baby. Back again. Another week. Another live market open. We are here. It's a brand new week, brand new day. Today is what time is it? Today is the 21st of November, 2022. We have 1 month left, ladies and gents. 1 month left till it's all gone. 1 month. Well, till 2022 is gone. Cameron Investing, what's up? Bacon, what's up? Haram Co, what's up? Meme, I love you on the Discord. What's up? How was your sister's birthday? Sister's birthday was very good. Thanks so much for asking, Cameron. It means the world. Jalon, what's up? Captain, Nicholas, Quarantine Quartet, Miyoko, hello. Welcome to another morning open. Now, we got some little different setup here in the studio. It looks a little bit different. Readjusted my desk, my table. I finally set up Stream Deck on OBS. So now when I switch through angles, it's going to be just so simple. It's just press one button and then boom, you got it. So super excited for that. And moved the computer here. Just made a bunch of... Honestly, I cleaned my whole... Well, I didn't clean my room. My mom helped me clean my room. She kind of like forced me to clean my room. But yes, you're 25 and sometimes your mom forces you to clean your room. It's what happens. But we're here. And we have a lot to talk about. Feeling good. I hope everyone's doing good. Let's pull up Weeble. It's a brand new week. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of stuff to discuss. First thing on the news that we're going to talk about is Tesla. Tesla has hit a 52-week low, at least in pre-market. Let me make sure it's still at that level. I believe it was right before I started. Let's go to Tesla. Here we go. Yes, pre-market 175.98. I DCA'd one share on Friday at 178. So we have Tesla hitting that pre-market. Suri, what's up? Good morning, Rich. You watching the World Cup? I don't watch the World Cup, to be honest. It's just not that interesting to me. My hot take is soccer's kind of boring, but I know it's not that boring, but like I've never been a fan of it. Honestly, in high school, though, I went to high school with a lot of Portuguese and Brazilian people. And in my freshman year, everyone was like, World Cup. I was like, what's a World Cup? I was like, why is the only thing I knew that would matter was like the NBA finals. And then I saw how passionate people were about their country and stuff. I was like, oh, I guess this is a big deal. So I don't watch it, but I'll keep up with it. Sam, what's up? Thank you for being here. Is this a new camera? No, it's not a new camera, but it's zoomed in. So that's why it probably looks a little bit more fresh and stuff like that. Studio looks great. Thank you. All right, here we go. So Tesla 176. Why is it down pre-market? Well, the entire market is down a little bit in the pre today. S&P still holding strong at 395 pre-market. Nothing too bad. There's a couple of factors for why Tesla may be down in particular. And I think most of those have to do, well, one is the technical. Tesla has to recall like 320,000 vehicles, but that's not that big of a deal. I mean, that doesn't warrant being down that much. Most companies have to recall vehicles to fix a lot of stuff. That's not a big deal. I think the big thing is the market's trying to understand what's going on with Twitter. And Twitter has been very interesting. Donald Trump was reinstated. What is the Palantir special meeting? I have a video about that's coming out a little bit later today. So watch out for that. That'll be out by like 11 a.m. It doesn't seem that important, but we'll see what happens. Donald Trump was reinstated on Twitter. And as a result of Trump being on Twitter, obviously, Twitter has been very popping over the weekend. Now, a couple of things on this Donald Trump thing. First of all, it's been reports that Elon Musk is looking to have someone new be the head of Twitter. I don't know how true that is. I think the fact that it's not that true is why Tesla may be declining a little bit in the pre-market, primarily because like investors don't like the Twitter overhang. But if Elon turns it around, which it kind of looks like it looks like he's getting there. That's going to be good. Obviously, a lot of his time is going to be dedicated to Twitter, but nonetheless, that would still be good for the company to be able to turn around. Just not great for Tesla shareholders because they don't want him running it. A couple of things that Elon tweeted over the weekend that are important to look at. He knows how to use memes. So CBS came back to Twitter because CBS decided, hey, there's a lot of traffic on Twitter. We probably need to be on Twitter. They said they were leaving because of safety concerns. Well, they're back. This is a picture of Donald Trump and Twitter. And Man, this guy is like, if you're religious, maybe this is offensive, but Elon does not give a crap, bro. He really does not care. Now, one thing that was very interesting, and I'm curious to hear people's perspectives on, is that Elon is not letting Alex Jones back on Twitter. So Sam Harris tweeted, "Is it time to let Alex Jones back on Twitter? If not, why not?" And Elon said, "My firstborn child died in my arms. I felt his last heartbeat. I have no mercy for anyone who would use the deaths of children for gain, politics, or fame." Now, while I respect what Elon's saying here, the problem is, and this is, I think anyone who's an Elon fan has to admit this, this is extremely contradictory with the entire notion of letting anyone have free speech, right? There are people that have said a lot of bad things, just like Alex Jones, have created a crazy amount of conspiracies on Twitter that are still allowed to be on it. Now, you may say Alex Jones has a lot of reach, which is bad. You don't want those conspiracies getting a lot of reach. That's fine. The problem is Elon is saying, I have no mercy for anyone who would use the deaths of children for gain. That's basically being a king, right? He's basically saying, look, this is my kingdom. I get to decide the final shots. And like, no one likes that, right? No one likes one person unilaterally having control, because that was the problem with the old version of Twitter, is just that a bunch of people in an office had a bunch of ideologies and they controlled everything. So I personally don't want Alex Jones back on Twitter either. I think his conspiracies are probably not the best and they shouldn't have that reach. But, if he doesn't tweet that type of stuff on Twitter anymore, right, because he learned his lesson, then what's the difference between Trump being banned for whatever he did and then coming back and Alex Jones, So it is a bit contradictory. I mean, I don't think we can sit here and acknowledge that it's not contradictory, but his argument goes against what he's saying. That is censorship, and yes, he has to be called out for it. Thank you, DRK. I appreciate you. DRK is a huge Elon Tesla fan, so I appreciate at least someone can tell me that I'm not crazy for thinking he's contradicted himself. But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, that's it. Good morning, Amit. I look so forward to your wake up energy. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you. I'm happy you are here. Every day, got to bring that energy. Even if I am not fully awake, I have a responsibility now. We had 300 people that came on Friday, bro, in the live stream. That was insane. That was absolutely amazing. So thank you all for being here. The Palantir special meeting, guys, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Either they're going to announce like dilution, management change, or some type of acquisition. Dilution's probably not happening. If they have 2.5 billion in cash, no debt. If they were going to do that, they would have just done a press release like a lot of companies do. One thing that could be happening is a little bit of management change. The last time I was in a major shareholder like emergency meeting, I was in a biotech stock, and they completely rebranded the entire product. The color changed, the logo changed, the website changed, the name of the company changed. This was back in October 2020. It was actually on my birthday. And I remember, they issued this major emergency meeting. And then the day of the meeting by 5 p.m., they had all these changes. So that's all been my experience with emergency shareholder meetings. I really doubt it's something super, super amazing. Like the best case scenario is it's some type of acquisition. The fast radio stuff I talked about in my video, that'll be at 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. But other than that, I don't know what crazy thing they could announce other than maybe some management change, a leadership change. Maybe, someone is the new C-suite executive. I literally have no clue. I just don't think it's going to be anything bad. If there was something bad like dilution or something, they would probably just announce it. So I doubt that would be the case. How can we have your morning attention, your morning energy? I don't know. You just got to wake up and get excited. You guys are saying there's some noise from the mic. Hold on. Let me hear this. Your morning energy. Bro, there's no noise from the mic. There's no noise from the mic. I fixed the mic over the weekend, or at least I thought I did. So I don't think there's any crazy noise from the mic. If there's a little cackling, maybe, but there's not a consistent like hissing. That's definitely not there. So please let me know if there's a consistent hissing, because I spent some time over the weekend making sure that shit doesn't happen. I really care that you guys get the right audio. What do we got for December 23rd? Like right before Christmas, just seems like weird timing. Yeah, hopefully it's not cold for Christmas, because if it does, that would be bad. It just is cackling. Okay, the cackling I can deal with, but the hissing I can't. Let me reduce the gain a little bit. That will help a little bit as well right now. All right, so we've got about 45 seconds before the market opens. November 21st, 2022. About to be 9:30 a.m. Look, we've got 9 days left till December. We've got 9 entire days left till December. I hope everyone's excited. It's crazy. 2020 has been absolutely crazy. The fact that this year is coming to an end. But we are here. And I'm very curious where the S&P is going to end. Also, we have some inflation news I'm going to get to as soon as the market opens. You guys might have caught this. You guys might have not caught this. I'm going to do a video on it later as well. But this news is really cool for inflation. I'll just say it like that. So I will let you guys know what it is right after we ring the bell. All right, 5 seconds. 9:30 a.m. November 21st, 2022. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Thank you all for being on this channel and doing what we do best, which is opening the stock market. Woo! Wake your ass up. The stock market is open and we see Tesla at a 52-week low. Like always. There we go. Tesla 52-week low. Well, not like always. This is unique like today. Now, it was dropping last week and I bought a little bit, but we've got Tesla low, CRM, Salesforce 146, Alibaba 78. I've been actually listening to a lot more Alibaba content. Don't worry, not buying the stock. Still can't trust China, but I've been learning a lot more about Alibaba. Let's just say that. I want to be able to talk a little bit more intelligently about Alibaba. So the best way to talk about things is to learn about them and consume content around them. So I've been learning about Alibaba a little bit more. Ginkgo Bioworks 216, waiting to buy again under $1. They released a $100 million share offering on top of the fact that they have 1.3 billion in cash, pissed off a lot of people. And Kathy Wood bought 4 million more shares. Like, there is something about this company that her team knows. If they liquidate this stock, it would be a 130 million share sell-off. I mean, it's just hard to imagine that's happening at these prices, given we feel we're getting close to the bottom. And if we get deflation, I think this thing is like a 3-4x from here, right back to $10. But it's going to depend on a lot of different factors. So we're going to see what happens. Rocket Lab at 453. Taiwan Semiconductor now at $80, up from 59 because Warren Buffett bought 9% of that. So that's looking good for Taiwan. 144 on Snowflake. Bitcoin was very close to 15,000 this morning. It was at 1607. There's some rumors that Binance, by the way, is going bankrupt as well. We'll probably talk about that. NASDAQ at 11,116. Netflix at 290. Oh, other breaking news. I forgot to mention Disney CEO Bob Iger is back. $99. Disney up 8%. The reason that Disney is up and the reason that this is happening is because Bob Iger was one of the most transformational CEOs for this company. And he was with them for 16 years. Really took them to a different level. Let's go to their max chart. Bob was responsible for around this time, right? Like all this run up we're seeing right here. So we're at what, $14 all the way to about 200 at the top. So he was responsible for giving people a good 10, 15x, right? Over the course of 15 years. Disney, obviously, what is the bull case on Disney? They have the best content in the world. And that's the bull case because everything that comes outside of Disney, the theme parks, the merchandising business, any of the licensing deals they have, all of that comes from these incredible stories that they've been able to consistently tell over and over again. The market cap of Disney is $181 billion. The last CEO just wasn't really doing a good job. I mean, at the end of the day, they weren't, leadership is everything. And you got to have someone at the helm that's able to do it. Bob retired after 15 years because he did a good job and now he is back. Now look at this. The market cap of Disney is $181 billion. If we go to Meta real quick, market cap of Meta is almost $300 billion. So Meta, which controls, the world's advertising infrastructure, is only $112 billion more valuable than something like a Disney. Disney, by the way, is a media company. It's not a tech company. Disney Plus is not technology. Like, yes, there's a streaming service, but it's not tech. It's just media that they put into the platform and they sell a subscription out. Facebook is tech, right? Facebook is AI. Facebook is all this stuff. Disney is you create really good stories and you make sure they stand the test of time. Snow White, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, right? These things that do not die and they stay forever. So the fact that Disney and Facebook are trading at kind of similar market caps, Facebook's a little bit higher, but not that much higher. It's quite incredible to see how badly, tech has fallen in competition to media companies, because tech are not media companies. Media companies use tech to gain distribution for their media. That's why tech companies are valued at higher premiums, because they keep all the media and then they're able to algorithmically curate it, which obviously gives them the larger value. Maybe Disney will revamp some of their politically correct content now. Maybe, the politically correct stuff has definitely put a strain on the stock as well. So we're going to see what happens with there. Bob Iger bought Marvel and Star Wars and turned Disney into tentpole only movies. He knew only big franchise films get people to theaters. That's a very good point, Derek. Bob Iger bought Marvel and Star Wars over the course of those 16 years that he was there. And think of Marvel. I mean, I have a friend, my cousin from India. She comes to visit us every December. And Marvel is the only thing she watches. She has watched Iron Man 14,000 times. And I'm like, how do you watch this over and over? I don't get it. It's so Marvel is one of those things. It's one of those franchises that just keeps people's attention. And if you get people's attention, that's all that matters. Tesla, new low. We've got it at 174, 173. Goodness gracious. Chicken on YouTube says Tesla's going down to 140. 420 pre-split. Let's see if it happens. S&P down as well. All right, let me share another piece of news that's important for inflation. This piece of news I think is going to surprise a lot of people. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's important to know. So here we go. Germany producer price index down negative 4.2% month over month. Producer prices of industrial products fell 4.2% month over month due primarily to dips in price for electricity and redistributed negative gas. Analysts had a forecast of a rise of 0.9%. So analysts thought the PPI in Germany is one of the largest manufacturing manufacturing economies of the world. Obviously, a lot of the world's auto is built there. China is a big market, but Volkswagen, BMW, Mercedes, Teslas, all of those happen in Germany. It fell 4.2% month over month. Now, we expected a rise of 0.9%. So for it to beat and come down 4.2%, remember the PPI is the thing that people have to pay. The index that measures how much people pay for the raw materials for a product, which then impacts the CPI, because if producers are paying less to create their products, consumers will pay less to buy their products because margins will compress, and people will be able to actually get those products without having to worry about paying overtly high prices because the producers don't have to buy them or create them for overtly high prices. That's a good thing. Now, does this have a natural impact on the 5% inflation underlying in Germany? Not necessarily. It's not going to really decrease it long term. Obviously, inflation's at 7.7 in America, 5% in Germany. Inflation is, hyperinflation in a lot of different parts of the world. So they've got to get that under control. But it's a good thing to see. Like it hasn't rallied the U.S. stock markets. It wasn't like the U.K. news where the central banks were not raising rates anymore, and obviously markets rallied on that. But it's not bad to see, right? To see PPI go down 4.2% is it's good. Now we just have to see what the larger long-term impact of that is, but that's not a bad thing. And especially when analysts expected it to be 0.9%. CPI December 13th. Mark your calendars in the United States. December 13th is going to determine a lot, and that day is going to be a Tuesday. So December 13th, we are going to see if in the United States, if December 13th, before the year ends, CPI is down significantly from 7.7. I don't know if we have some amazing Santa Claus rally, but I do know that it doesn't look like we're hitting all-time new lows in the market, right? But CPI's got to be down. So we got to have 7.3, 7.4. If we could get that, we're going to be in a good spot. Spotify at $74 right now. Let's go to Goog. Goog, I believe, is at 98. Yep, Goog's at 98. Let's check out Microsoft. How's MSFT doing? Microsoft at 243.27. Yeah, not any crazy difference from Friday. ARC is at 35. ARC still underperforming. It's been stuck again from 33 to 40 for a pretty long time now. So it is there. Per CodeStrap meeting, content thread is about changes in bylaws from lawsuits. Oh, that might also be the case, Teddy. That might also be a good argument. Okay, let's get into the talking heads. Let's see what they're talking. By the way, I don't know if you guys noticed, CNBC's YouTube got hacked over the weekend, and they started posting videos from 5 years ago. It was actually kind of funny. It's oh, these are a lot of old videos that probably don't need to be there. Oh wow, I don't even think they're updating some of the stuff they're updating. They haven't updated anything today. And it's primarily because of that thing that was happening where a lot of their videos got hacked. Okay, let's look at Grindr. I forgot to talk about this on Friday. Grindr went public in a SPAC deal. They were up 552% or something. Let me look at their ticker symbol real quick. GRND. Okay, they're down 15% today, so that's why it's hard betting on these SPACs. But let's take a look at some analysis on that one. Here we go.
So there are very few shares out. Is this what you anticipated, or what can you tell people about all this volatility and this huge move up?
I told the team yesterday, get ready for volatility. I'm sure there'll be volatility, but we're not here for a month or a day. We're here for many years, right? We're going to be building a company for the long term. All our shareholders that were big shareholders in Grindr before bought into the transaction. None of them are selling. That's why there's so little liquidity, because the people who own this company believe in it a ton. But it is a really amazing thing to have a company built by a gay founder, by a lot of LGBTQ developers and engineers for the gay community, now kind of out there trading
Yeah,
pretty
well, it's
awesome.
clearly got some enthusiasm behind it, and I do want to talk about the business process. But again, 98.2% of the SPAC holders redeemed,
Yep.
so there's a lot less cash in the trust for you. Originally, your original press releases had 384 million. You're nowhere near that. Is that an impact to you in terms of not really having any cash to start?
No, we actually told everybody throughout the entire process that we didn't really need cash. Grindr makes money. It makes money every month. It's a very profitable business. Because our users love our business, we spend virtually no money on marketing. So our margins are very strong and our growth is really strong. So we think we have everything we need to do the work for the long term and grow this company.
Do we know how many shares there are outstanding?
I don't actually exactly know how many shares, but I think it's over 120 million.
Oh, it is?
I think so.
Okay. Stocks halted again, of course.
So look at that right there. They have a 42 million adjusted EBITDA, 765,000 paying users, 11 million MAUs, and 190 countries in different profiles. I'm not going to say anything about Grindr ever for fear of being canceled. Gabe, this is business. This is not political to me. This is a company, and they create a deal-making service for people who are looking for each other. For those that don't know what Grindr is, it is a gay dating app, essentially. It's like Hinge, Bumble, Tinder, but for people that are gay. Simple. So 11 million MAUs is really interesting to me. It lets you show the scale of the internet, right? Like if you niche down, I mean, Grindr is obviously niche of a niche of a niche. It's not just the social app, not just the dating app. It's a niche within a dating app. And its ability to, and it has the ability to be able to attract 11 million people, 765,000 paying you. It just goes to show if you start any type of an internet company, the scale is just absolutely unprecedented for it to actually get big, right? And for it to actually go larger as well. Now, there was a video that came out also over the weekend about Donald Trump talking about if he was going to go back to Twitter. And I want to see if I can find that. Why is this important? Well, the reason this is important is because if Trump comes back to Twitter, which Elon is trying to get him to come back, Trump, what he is he's like Mr. Beast to YouTube, right? He is this source of attention that if you just keep putting out content, he's not leaving, right? I mean, people are staying to the platform because they want to see what he has to say. They want to see his content. And so as a result of that, he's going to keep using the platform. And if people are going to keep using the platform as a result of that, that's just going to drive more awareness. Elon needs Trump right now. Let's just say that. Elon desperately needs. If Trump were to come to the platform, you would have hundreds of millions of more people using it month over month, in my opinion. Even if not hundreds of millions, let's say Trump has 85 million followers. Let's give you 10-20% of that start coming back to the platform, using it just to see what he's doing. There's a lot of opportunity there. So let's hear what Trump had to say. Now, the problem is he has his own social media company, which is where you get into a little bit of an issue.
Truth Social is through the roof. It's doing phenomenally well. Truth Social has been very, very powerful, very, very strong. And I'll be staying there, but I hear we're getting a big vote to also go back on Twitter. I don't see it because I don't see any reason for it.
So why does he not see any reason for it, right? So let's go into DWAC, which is his SPAC. This SPAC has not completed the merger. The SPAC has not completed a merger, which is actually insane, right? So if I go to Webull right here and we go to DWAC, this is his SPAC that he initiated a year ago. It went up like 100-something% in one day. It's down 5% today. Makes sense because he's back on Twitter. Look at this. It debuted at 7 and it went all the way up to 65. This was October 2021. You talk about peak madness. So you go from $9 to 65, that's a 5-6x or even more than that. Yeah, around that in a day, which is insane. And then it crawled all the way back up to $93. And then it's just obviously started coming more back down. If Trump abandons this platform, the market cap of this is 750 million. When it completes its merger and like it's actually real and the growing user base happens and you get more and more advertisers, this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar company. It's just a question of if you can keep those people not going to Twitter. And what is the number one thing that keeps people coming to Truth Social? Trump. Right? He is the Mr. It's like if Mr. Beast made his own YouTube. It's not going to be as valuable as YouTube, but it's still going to be pretty big. So Twitter's 44 billion. Trump could probably get to $1 billion. But Trump and his investors stand to lose a heck of a lot of money if his app goes under, which will happen if Trump comes back to Twitter. That's exactly correct. Now, the problem is Trump wants to be the president. And so if you want to be the president, what does a president need to do? They need to get people's attention, because if they get people's attention, then they have the ability to influence them to vote for them. Sonny says, first time tuning in, loving it. Thank you, Sonny, so much for tuning into the Market Open. It means a lot to me. Thank you for being here. So if if Trump wants to get people's attention, you have 85 million people waiting to hear from you. 85 million people waiting to hear from you means that's why Twitter is a bit of an addiction. I'm on Twitter at @AmitIsInvesting. I've got close to about 8,000 followers. And you tweet something and people respond and you engage, and it's a nice process, especially if you have built a little bit of a community and it's fun. And so I could only imagine you're talking to 80 million people. It honestly could probably become a little bit ridiculous Elon at 115 million, but the influence that you have, especially that's why every politician is on Twitter, because they can just talk crap about all their competitors, especially during election season. They can just do these little tweets. AOC and Bernie Sanders get literally 50,000 retweets per tweet. I mean, there's a huge section of Twitter that is progressive. There's a huge section of Twitter that is conservative, and these bases just are kind of separate the whole time as they're tweeting these things, which leads to Twitter becoming this echo chamber. Can Elon solve that? Hopefully, but we'll see. And that's what makes Twitter so influential. So Elon is kind of putting Trump in a corner here, saying, "Hey, your Truth Social, no one's using it. You want to be the president? There's no way you can run for president and not be tweeting, the things you need to tweet." So, and it's interesting. And now would Twitter buy Truth Social? Probably not. But granted, if Elon Musk had to pay $800 million to get Trump to come back on Twitter, it's not out of question that he would just be like, "Screw it. If I get, it's like YouTube. How much do they think Mr. Beast is worth to the platform?" It's like, I don't know if it's $1 billion. I don't know if it's 800 million, but it might be a lot. It really might be a lot. So we are going to see. Let's look at some other stuff. We got Snowflake at 142. All of the earnings are done for the year, I believe. So we don't have any more earnings. Q4 earnings are going to happen in February or January, or most likely February. Palantir usually does it in February as well. So we're going to see what happens there. Palantir stock down 718, negative 2.84%. I bought 18 shares on Friday at 742. Those are my first shares in my SoFi account. By the way, the SoFi app, I've said this over and over again, but it really does suck. I mean, it is not a good app. Robinhood, speaking of SoFi, now down under $9. Let's go to SoFi. I encourage people to download it and just use it. The app really, and I have a lot of sympathy for that. I have a product as well, linked in the description. You want to check it out, my startup. And I understand what it feels like to have an app that has bugs, it's glitchy, it's laggy, all that stuff. But at some level, you're worth, how much are they worth? $5 billion. You got to be able to make a better app. I mean, this thing has got to work. It's laggy. I don't understand why it's lagging. I don't understand how a $5 billion app is lagging. And now granted, this is what gives me confidence sometimes about my startup, because I've seen companies raise 30, 40 million bucks, legitimate startups, and their app is lagging. And, or it's just it's missing some features that even my app has that we were able to build in a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks max. So, the amount of money you raise doesn't always correlate with how successful you're going to be in a product. And I've seen that, in 2021, a lot of companies raise a lot of money, and they have not built the products to reflect that. SoFi, obviously still very bullish on it, but the app needs to get a lot better. It's like trying to buy something was a hassle on SoFi. I was trying to find, how do I even buy this thing? And it was a bit hard. Robinhood, I'm curious, Sam Bankman-Fried's $450 million stake in this company, where does it go? I'm assuming it's going to get seized, but I'm curious, so let's say the SEC is okay, Sam Bankman-Fried owns 6% of Robinhood. We're going to take that from him because FTX is going bankrupt and it was his fault. Does that 6% of Robinhood, do they sell the Robinhood shares and pocket the 450? Or do they keep that 6% of Robinhood because maybe one day that 450 will turn into $1 billion and then they take it? I always wondered, how do you deal with that at that level, or how you're going to be able to take those? It's going to be, Zoom has earnings today. Okay, perfect. Zoom is so interesting. Shout out to 200 people being here. Thank you for joining in. Let's look at Zoom for a second. So the problem with Zoom last quarter, okay, I analyzed the earnings last quarter. Look at this, $588, now down to 82. Zoom's last quarter, they put up $1 billion in the quarter, which is amazing, right? $1 billion per quarter. That's their TTM. So putting up $4 billion a year, market cap at 24, trading 6 times price to sales. Not that crazy. Really not that crazy for an app that has a lot of potential, and we can go deep into that potential. But the problem with Zoom, what their CFO was saying, is that the rate of growth has significantly decreased, not the revenue, but the rate at which the revenue is growing, which is what investors actually care about, because that lets them know what the future revenue is going to look like, because the rate determines obviously how much growth is going to happen from the pandemic. And obviously that it was a cyclical pandemic, so it made a lot of sense for that to go down. But what they said in particular is enterprise sales went down significantly. So like in 2020, I'm assuming they were selling Zoom left and right? Because every enterprise was going remote and they needed to sell the product. Now, I mean, like, work from home is not that big of a thing anymore. There's a lot of competitors to Zoom. Microsoft obviously bundling in Teams. I still pay for Zoom every month because it is the it is the one-stop solution. It is the easiest thing in the world. I love the product. The problem is Kathy Wood thinks the stock is going to be $1,200 and it's at 82. That would be a 12x from now. That means this would be the best stock of the decade, most likely. Like you got to think about that. Kathy Wood thinks the bear case or like the base case is 1,200. Or worse, I think she said it was like 700 is the bear case and 1,200 is the base. Like that implies a 6 to 12x from $82 when enterprise sales are going down significantly, and there's probably not going to be a once in a lifetime catalyst over the next 5 years. I'm guessing, I could be wrong, to accelerate that rate of growth that the CFO said in the last earnings was going down. So how does Kathy get that valuation? How do you get them to do for either 45 to $70 billion of revenue per year in 2026? That is what she said. 45 to $70 billion in revenue. It's a hard one to understand, man. It's a hard one. And I looked at their models and I still don't get it. I really don't get it. So Zoom at $82 is interesting to me. I like it as a one-stop shop. I'm really curious to see the earnings. So thank you for letting me know the earnings were out today. We're going to see. That's probably going to happen after hours. Home Depot at $317. Let's go back to Disney. Disney, $99, up 8%. Wow. Disney's up. Does anyone own Disney stock? Put it in the chat. I owned it for like a short amount of time in 2020, like a really short amount of time, and then I sold it and I moved on. But Disney's the interesting one. Let's look at Bloomberg and what they have to say about Disney CEO coming back. I never bought it because I always thought like it's an old company. You know, how much more can their content get interesting? But if they keep producing timeless movies, they have a ways to go.
This is incredible. I mean, this is an incredible story. So Bob Iger's back. The Magic Kingdom hasn't been so magic in terms of returns in the last couple of years. No, and
astonishingly, Bob Chapek was awarded a new contract just over the summer. So the change here has been rapid. The thing that had happened with Disney is that activist investors had looked at the share price of Netflix, in particular the price to earnings ratio. It was trading at something like 50 times forward earnings. Disney was trading around the 20s, and they said, well, we'll have a piece of that. Thank you very much. You should be more like Netflix. Therefore, Disney pivoted, investing significantly.
So again, tech stocks, as he said, were trading at 50 times earnings. Disney was at 20 times. That's when investors said, hey, you should launch something to turn a little bit into tech stocks, right? And that's when they launched Disney Plus. Now Disney Plus has more than 100 million subscribers. Disney, since 2005 to 2020, look at that, 430%, S&P 150%. So in the past 15 years, Disney has outperformed the S&P by 3 times. I mean, that was all under Bob Iger. That was all under that one guy. He gets the credit for it. If you're the CEO, you get the credit. So I'm assuming that's why they brought him back.
Significantly in the streaming platform Disney Plus, it then got pretty close to Netflix as a price to forward earnings ratio, I should say. Then, of course, we saw the fallout of the pandemic conditions easing, and Netflix, its user numbers stagnated, its share price fell, Disney followed it.
I mean, I just find it incredible. So the share price in Germany at the moment in pre-market trading today is up 10%. I mean, they still have an activist investor on their back. Was it because the chief executive was shockingly bad, or is it really because Bob Iger can turn this around once again?
A lot of the commentary we've seen is that actually the messaging is kind of what's important. That it's not necessarily there will be significantly changes in the strategy. The one thing that Bob Chapek had not been terribly good at communicating was actually how this capital that is being spent right now on content for the streaming platform might ultimately yield dividends. And you pair that with the impact internally on the culture, where Bob Chapek had made some decisions that weren't terribly popular, trying to move staff to Florida, political things that he maybe hadn't been as outspoken on as Iger had, tends to support seemingly for Republicans, as has been reported, because there was an expectation that they would do very well at the midterms. That has maybe backfired, as we can see. So there's lots of moving pieces here. Ultimately, Bob Iger, steady pair of hands. It's only a 2-year contract. We'll have to see who else comes in.
Sorry, I was trying to press the button. The other thing here is the political stuff, right? So Bob Chapek, I don't know too much about him, but apparently there was, the Florida stuff and a lot of the things they wanted to put into the movies that were a little bit more political. Bob seems to be less of that. Seems to be more, conservative in terms of fiscally responsible, all that different type of stuff. One could make the argument shareholders like them more, people like them more, and that leadership is actually going to be a little bit more important as well. So that could be an argument. Gabe says, Amit, look into the railroad strike. The railroad strike could be a big deal. I heard a little bit about this. Let's put up a quick video. I don't know too much about this, but if this is a big strike before holiday season, let's see what this could turn into. Okay, a nationwide railroad worker strike is likely this December.
Well, the first key date for investors is Monday, November 21st. That's when the two largest unions, the Engineers Union and the Smart TD Union, announced their vote on the tentative deal. If one of these two unions votes not to ratify, they could start striking December 9th, following a mandatory cooling off period. But as of right now, even if these two groups vote to ratify the deal, we are still looking at a strike. Why? Because there are three unions that have already voted not to ratify the deal. As of December 5th, the BMW ED, which represents the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way employees, and the BRS, the Signalmen's Union, are set to strike. Meanwhile, the Boilermakers Union, which has also voted to not ratify the deal, has not given a start date for their strike. Based on the September prep timeline, railroads should start to strike preps around November 28th, the day the Senate is back from Thanksgiving. Now, here's where it gets tricky. If next week the larger unions vote not to ratify a deal, the BMW ED has said it will postpone its strike to December 9th, which will align with them. But as of right now, the BRS is not changing its timeline and could still start its strike on December 5th. But if the BRS does decide to align with the larger union and the BMW ED, that means the railroads don't have to begin strike preps until December 1st. Now, 4 days may not seem like a lot, but when you are slowing down rail trade, it matters to shippers. Now, UPS is the largest rail customer, and they tell me while they encourage an immediate resolution, they are flexing their integrated smart logistics network so they can plan to move rail-bound containers by other modes of transport.
That would be interesting, man. If a railroad strike is getting ready to happen in December, you would imagine companies like FedEx and UPS. It's so crazy. We forget the railroads are a thing. In the 1800s, obviously they were a very big deal in 1900s, but we forget, everything happens through air and through cars and trucks. And it's like, oh yeah, we have railroads and ships, obviously, and railroads do a lot of different stuff. Supply chain's about to get screwed. Yeah, man, that's not the best for that. Let's look at actually UPS and FedEx. Is there a dividend on UPS? 3.39%. Okay, so there's a 3.3 on UPS, and then FedEx is 2.63, trading both at the same prices. The market cap of FedEx is 45, and the market cap of UPS is 155. Interesting. I've never got into these types of stocks. I'm going to see from 2020, it went down to 75, and obviously huge explosion because so much online e-commerce was happening. Amazon has not disrupted UPS and FedEx in the way that they thought. Amazon does a lot of their own shipping, but they need FedEx and UPS. These guys keep the world going round and round. So, yeah, if there was some type of a strike, that probably would not be the best for some of these types of companies. Tesla, 174, down 3.3%, up a little bit from its 52-week low, 173. I don't know. It's looking like it wants to take a leg down, right? It's like flirting with it. I think it needs probably something in the macro to take it down. S&P still holding up, man. This is incredible. The S&P has not gone below 390 in what looks like almost a week now. Let me look at the 1 month. Yeah, last time it was below 390 was 1110. So it's been a week. So for almost 10 days, it's been stuck over 390. It's been stubborn there. It went up to 402 at one point. CPI December 13th, I think, is going to give us our clue. I think that's when we're going to know. Is it happening or is it not happening? I can't wait for Palantir to move. Me too. Just might take some time for that to happen. All right. That's it, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all for being here. As my camera dies, I'm just going to change my camera real quick. Boom. Here we go. Another angle. Thank you all for being here. It means the absolute world to me. A couple of videos coming out today. I'm going to be talking about the Palantir shareholders meeting. That'll be out in about an hour. Going to be talking about some inflation news that's going to be coming out. Might do a video on Zoom earnings. We'll see. So that'll be out in a little bit, and you'll see that there. And then we'll keep doing some more. Amit, remember the ARC dude, that ARC guy doing an interview from the back of a supermarket in the WID? Dude, just buy a new mic. Yeah, that is true. I do remember that. Thanks, Amit. Have a great day. All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.